The Freedom from Religion Foundation found as of December 2010 that between 1/4 to 1/2 of a typical U.S. city may be made up of tax-exempt property, and much of these areas are churches or church schools. This is a significant amount of U.S. land that is tax-exempt, and today, poverty and inequality are spoken about extensively in the media. There's a growing desire in the social order to raise taxes on the wealthy so that the rest of us can have more opportunity. I'd like to suggest that in addition, it would be economically beneficial to give society more opportunity by taxing churches and requiring them to invest in the greater community. Not all churches are rich, but some of them are very rich. This is because society subsidizes them through generous tax breaks. I understand this happens because I've studied it, and because pastors I know openly speak about money that they are able to use on other things due to tax-exempt laws. Amid the near social-wide acceptance of the tax exemptions currently afforded to churches, the United States should recognize the socio and economic opportunities we could benefit from by taxing churches, and should therefore not allow churches to continue to be tax-exempt. In the following few minutes, I will explain 3 popular reasons for why churches should continue to receive tax exemptions, and later give an argument against each of the 3. Taxes are withheld from churches for a variety of reasons. One of those reasons is that tax exemptions have been in law since the creation of the Constitution. According to an article by the LA Times in September 2008, entitled "Why Churches Don't Pay Taxes," a Supreme Court decision in Waltz v. the Tax Commission of New York City found it constitutional for all religions to receive no tax burden. Due to this constitutional upholding, churches are no longer required to pay property tax or federal income tax or on anything they own, and are exempt from any and all audits by the IRS. Although many people believe that there is no reason for churches to begin to pay taxes if it has been in law since the creation of the Constitution, that is not always the argument in favor of tax exemption. For those who have considered taxing churches, they argue that most churches are small, and it would be borderline immoral to tax them. Such as a 2015 post on debate.org, where many community members argue that to single out small churches would take away from most of their money, and the small amount that the city would receive would not benefit the community in any way. Aside from the factor of church size, many people argue that the most important effect of tax exemption is the ability for community benefits. The Alliance for Defending Freedom says on its website as of May 2002 that the social benefit theory of tax exemption recognizes that churches provide great benefits to society through tangible and intangible good works. Many people believe that these good works are enough to continue to exempt churches from paying taxes. Now that we've heard the 3 reasons in favor of tax exemptions, including that it's always been done, that size is a deciding factor, and the social benefit theory, let's now look at why these reasons may not be palatable. Although church tax exemption has been a part of the U.S. since the creation of the Constitution, it is safe to say that many things are not the same as they were in 1787 when the Constitution was written. Many churches now own multiple properties in their communities and build many buildings of all sizes. According to a 2016 article in churchandstate.org by author Sikaboo Hutchinson, a Los Angeles author and activist working to expand the movement in communities of color, it is the proliferation of small storefront churches that is a major contributor to poverty and societal dysfunction in poor communities. Since these churches remove valuable commercial property from the tax base, they consequently put local governments in cash-strapped situations, unable to provide basic services. In an article on August 4, 2015, published by listland.com, some estimates find property tax exemption for large and small churches to remove $100 billion in property tax from U.S. rolls. That is a lot out of the hands of local U.S. cities and into the hands of single-origin organizations like churches. Not only are churches different than in 1787, but they are much more wealthy. For those who argue that most churches are small and their tax contribution obsolete, let's take a look at the numbers. Forbes, in a July 2015 article, estimates that spending $3 billion on a large mall purchased by the Church of Latter-day Saints happened in Salt Lake City. In addition, they show that the Church of Scientology currently own a $5 billion cruise ship obtained in 1985, known as Free Winds. Not only are churches spending money on significant purchases, many religious employees are as well. In 2009, a post on Big Think Orange explains that due to tax exemptions, no religious employees need to pay unemployment tax and in some states, sales tax. Furthermore, religious ministries of the gospel are eligible to receive part of their salary as a housing allowance, on which they pay no taxes, and deduct a mortgage interest from their taxes of which they pay with non-taxed income. In addition, an investigation by Senator Chuck Grassley in 2009, posted on Big Think Orange, gave a glimpse of how powerful preachers spend cash they receive. His investigation found that preachers of many large churches have millions in jewelry, luxury clothing, cosmetic surgery, offshore bank accounts, multi-million-dollar lakefront mansions, a fleet of private jets, and flights to Hawaii and Fiji. In the famous case of Joyce Meyer, she purchased a $23,000 marble-topped commode. Meyer's ministry alone is estimated to have an annual take of around $124 million, as noted in 2009 by Big Think Orange. Due to these traditional tax and audit exemptions, we should be able to trust churches to send some of their money at least back into their community. As per the social benefit theory, churches are to do tangible and intangible good works. However, in addition to the size and scale of churches, their beliefs are not always perceived as good works by all community members. In an article on August 4, 2015, published by the Huffington Post, many churches share and preach their message during their good works. The Post refers to this as the assumption of truth, where one faith is absolute or superior. Due to this perception, many churches do good with strings attached. And these strings do not necessarily match the ideas of every community member, including gays and those of other international backgrounds. These are three core arguments that have been thoroughly talked about now, and now we are reaching the end. In conclusion, the changes since 1787 include societal dysfunction in poor communities, billions in property tax losses by churches spending the same monetary value on real estate, good works put aside for personal consumer interests, and a belief system based on the assumption of truth. These are the many reasons why churches should no longer be tax exempt. Amid the near social-wide acceptance of tax exemptions currently afforded by churches, many view that what has always been should always be. There are still those who perceive that there's no benefit to taxing and helping do good for the community. For this reason, preventing churches from paying taxes takes away an opportunity for them to do good in the community. We see many ways that the community is harmed by tax exemptions. Due to the amount of money in today's churches, properties they own take away from individual or corporate owners that could pay taxes. We have learned how this in effect harms the community. With all the perspectives and different religious views in today's society, our diverse U.S. landscape should treat churches equal to all other businesses pursuing personal and organized interests. Thank you.